questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Thank you. Item 2.2.4, Planning Delegated Decisions issued August 2024. Do I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Tronks. Seconder, Councillor Long. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Item 3, public question time. Please, Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Mayor. And before I read out the questions and invite someone up to for public question time, I have a public apology. I have an apology to make to a member of the public. It's come to our attention that a member of our community tried on several occasions in different ways to tell us of their preferred pronouns being they, them. There was a procedural and technical issue that meant their pronoun preferences were not passed on to relevant people, and various councillors and officers referred to the person by the wrong pronouns on a number of occasions. We have since remedied our process so that any member of the community asking a public question will be asked their preferred pronouns, and these will be passed on to the relevant notes so that those involved in the meeting are aware. All efforts will be made to show respect and courtesy in using a person's preferred pronouns from here on. On behalf of Council, I offer our sincere apologies for any hurt or offence that may have been caused. Thank you, Mayor. I now have the first question tonight is from Amira Sabanovic of Noble Park. Is she here this evening? No. Amira's question concerns parking spots in Dandenong. How many parking places are available for seniors disabled people at Dandenong Market, Dandenong Plaza and the Drum Theatre? Can I ask our Executive Director, City Futures, Mr Manavasagasavam, to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor. At the Dandenong Market, there are 24 disabled parking bays. Between the Dandenong Plaza and RSL car parks, there are 44 disabled parking spaces. I would also like to note that the Dandenong Plaza car park is not managed by the council. At the Drum Theatre, there are 8 disabled parking bays on nearby Lonsdale Street, Service Lane, and also Langholm Street. In addition to this, there are also disabled parking bays within the off-street car parks on nearby streets.
Thank you. Our next question is from Philip Lamaro of Dandenong and is a question concerned revitalising central Dandenong. Greater Dandenong City Council has current public plans for revitalising Springvale and revitalising Noble Park, but only revitalising central Dandenong. This area in the revitalising central Dandenong only covers 18% of central Dandenong's activity area, completely ignoring Scott Street, Clough Street, Macrae Street, Putney Street, Langthorne Street, plus many others. By this plan, Council is prioritising only 18% of Dandenong and ignoring the others. Can Council please explain why only 18% of central Dandenong is included in its current revitalising area, and will Council be creating a new revitalising plan that includes all central Dandenong? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor. The revitalising Central Dandenong declared project area gazetted in 2005 following an extensive community engagement process. The revitalisation area covers 170 hectares of land, which includes all Central Dandenong activity centres as identified in the Greater Dandenong Planning Scheme. This includes the sections of the streets that fall within the activity centre mentioned in your question. In our recent submission to the state government for the plan for Victoria, the council advocated for expanding the Dandenong National Employment and Innovation Cluster to include additional areas surrounding the Dandenong Activity Centre. This will ensure that the strategic development of the Dandenong cluster aligns with its intended role as the key link within the Victoria's economic framework.
Thank you. I have another question from Philip Lamaro of Dandenong concerning Dandenong Market. Council has informed that the Dandenong Market is creating a new master plan for future developments. Dandenong Market is the heart of Dandenong, has been for over 150 years. This is something personal and very important to residents. Can Council please explain how residents can be involved in this planning? Will there be information and public engagement on this master plan as it has been done in the past with the Dandenong Hub and all other Dandenong Council-owned facilities? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor, Council officers are currently finalising the project brief for the Dandenong Market Precinct Master Plan. The project brief identifies a two-staged approach to community and stakeholder engagement. The first round of consultation will commence in mid-next year.
Thank you. Our next question is from Jacob Dudman Doyle of Noble Park, and it concerns footpath repair at Keysborough. The paths are a trip and fall hazard on Darren Road and Leanne Crescent, Keysborough. More and more of these are coming so quickly. This may involve cutting down some roots of trees or digging up the path. Because this is becoming out of hand, you need to do something about it before another person reports it. I hope it's not a problem to fix this. Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond to Jacob's question, please?
Through you, Mayor. Thank you for your question, Jacob. As reported before, replacement of the footpath is scheduled to be completed by the end of November this year. Council maintenance programs take into consideration the impact of trees on civil infrastructure and include an arboriculture assessment of vegetation in impacted areas before any civil works are undertaken.
Thank you. Our next question is from Matthew Kerwin of Noble Park, and it concerns council meetings. On the Greater Dandenong Council website, there's currently a public meeting for the swearing in of councillors on Thursday, the 14th of November, and then a mayoral election 4 days later on Monday, the 18th of November, and then the first ordinary council meeting on Monday the 25th of November. Having separate public meetings for swearing in of councillors and voting on the mayoralty seems odd. Generally, the two have been combined in the past. However, in particular, the VEC website says that results of the election will not be clear until Friday the 14th of November anyway. After the election, what council meetings will there be in November and on what dates and for what purpose? Can I ask our Executive Director Corporate Development, Andrew Foley, to respond, please?
Thank you, and through you, Mayor. Thank you for your question, Matthew. The VEC has informed Council that election results are expected to be available prior to the published 15th November date on the VEC website. If the results are available as expected, this will enable councillors to be sworn in and provided some time to become acquainted prior to the mayoral election shortly after. Otherwise, swearing in and the mayoral election could occur on the 18th of November. Final meeting dates and agendas after the election are yet to be finalised.
Thank you. Our next question is from Natira Barekovic of Dandenong and concerns Dandenong Community Hub. At the council meeting of the 26th of August this year, council decided to proceed with the concept design work on the Dandenong Community Hub and in particular proceed with further co-design workshops in February 2025. When is the Dandenong Community Hub project page on the council website going to be updated with the next steps with the Dandenong Community Hub project, including an extract of the council minutes of the meeting on the 26th of August with the report and resolutions around the Dandenong Community Hub? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor, the webpage for Dandenong Community Hub was updated 2 weeks ago and includes the resolution from council meeting on the 26th of August.
Thank you. Our next question is from Gay Guest of Keysborough and it concerns significant tree protection. A local council in West Australia will consider a bold new proposal to offer homeowners a discounted rates bill if they pledge to list and protect significant trees on their property. The scheme was put forward by City of Canning councillor this week, is designed to protect and expand tree coverage in the council area. Like several local governments across Perth, the City of Canning has adopted a significant tree register that provides added protections to the most exceptional trees across Canning. The council's motion states, The City has already registered many exceptional trees onto its register that are located on Canning's freehold land and Crown land. The obvious challenge is attracting private property owners to nominate significant trees for the register to help protect them into the future. When will such a scheme be adopted in CGD, especially after the disastrous storm damage that council staff have had to clean up after, and the fact that significant trees at 51A Douglas Street need to be protected and saved, as will the trees on Corrigan Road and in the Sandown Racecourse precinct, should that receive an unfavourable decision? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor. Firstly, thank you for bringing this idea to us, Kay. Since 2021, canopy coverage across the municipality has increased from 9% to 14.1% in 2024. And Council is well on its way to achieving the target set out in the Urban Forest Strategy of 15% canopy coverage by 2028. This outcome has resulted from increased council tree planting and our community having a better understanding of the benefits of trees. Over the next 24 months, Council will continue to look at options to improve our canopy coverage and reduce the urban heat island effect.
Thank you. And our last question this evening is from Gay Guest of Keysborough. Concerns Keysborough Uniting Church. What action is Council taking to protect the heritage value of the Keysborough Uniting Church, diminishing from neglect and lack of repairs to damage from vandalism or weather events? Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor, while there are no specific powers that Council can utilise to require the Uniting Church to protect the heritage values of the site, Council has worked with the Uniting Church over the number of years to ensure they appropriately protect the Keysborough Uniting Church. It is Council's understanding that the Uniting Church are now looking to sell the site. Once sold, Council can then continue to work with the new owner to seek to have the heritage values of the sites protected.
Thank you, Ms Weatherall. Item 4, Officers' Reports, Part 2, 4.1 Finance and Budget, 4.1.1 June 2024 Financial Report Interim Results. Can I get a mover, please?
Councillor Garrett.
Seconder. Thank you. Mover and seconder, was that you, Councillor Tan? Yep. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? That item is carried. Thank you. Item 4.1.2, 2023 to 2024 Annual Financial Statements. Can I get a mover, please?
Garrett.
Thank you. Councillor Garrard. Is there a seconder?
Councillor Tan.
Thank you, Councillor Tan. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? That item is carried. Thank you. Item 4.2, Other. 4.2.1, List of Registered Correspondence to Mayor and Councillors. Can I get a mover, please?
Happy to move, Councillor Dan.
Councillor Long, and then you snuck in as the seconder there, Councillor Dan. Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Thank you. Item 4.2.2, Report on matters discussed at council briefing sessions and pre-council meetings. Can I get a mover, please?
Councillor Garrett.
Councillor Garrard. Can I get
Councillor
a seconder?
Dan, seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Dan. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? That item is carried. Thank you. Item 5, Notices of Motion. As there are no notices of motion, we will move on to Item 6, Reports from Councillors, Delegated Members and Councillor Questions. I will start with you, Councillor O'Reilly.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended a few events, the fundraising dinner for the Vietnamese Museum with Deputy Mayor Richard Lim, and if I miss anyone out, you can happily interrupt me. I wouldn't want to do that. Ancestor Celebration, Cambodian Association of Victoria, both morning and evening. Myself, Councillor Sophie Tan and Councillor Loy Trong Moon Festival celebration at the Cambodian Chinese Friendship Association with Deputy Mayor Richard Lim. Haven't missed anyone out so far, I don't think. Good. And finally, the Children's Lantern Festival run by SEMVAC, and this was particularly special. Mayor, I was with Deputy Mayor Richard Lim, Councillor Lloyd Trung and Councillor Philip Dan. Didn't leave you out this time because it was the joy on the children's faces when after the lion dance and them running around trying to catch all the confetti that had come out was just quite unique and really special. And I congratulate SEMVAC on the running of the event. It was real community spirit, volunteers. The importance was signified by the attendance of many federal and Victorian MPs as well, and it was an extraordinarily happy occasion. That's all I have to report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Riley. Councillor Trong.
Thank you, Mayor. I go with Sean and Sophia and to attend at the event for Cambodian Association. They organized the event to praise for their ancestor, and also the ceremony is about 39 years of Victoria, Cambodian Victoria's Association. And on Sundays, I attend with Councillor Sean O'Reilly and Richard Lim and Philip Dan, Councillor Philip Dan, and attend at the SEMVAC, Lantern Festival. This time they organize a festival over $12,000, but they don't ask any funding from anywhere. The donation from the people, and they use that money to play it. Because now is many people know SEMVAC, therefore they make fundraising very easy. Some like as well, not like before, and that's very successful. The many people happy, and many children come, and many background as well, not only Vietnamese. And I'm happy to see that SEMVAC growing up day by day. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Chung. Councillor Garrard.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My question is regarding the Keysborough South Hub. I note that the hub is progressing very well and is really looking incredibly almost finished with the roof work commencing. My question is regarding the opening date. Do we have an indicative idea of the opening date? And also, can we add this to the website? Because many residents are eagerly looking forward to the opening and also making plans regarding their care of their children. So they're just wanting a general idea of when it might be open.
Thank you. I'll ask Ms Gillies to respond if she could, please. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor, and thanks very much, Councillor Garrard, for the question. We are currently confirming the date, but we actually just met today and we absolutely will be updating the website as soon as possible. In the meantime, any families interested in attending from a childcare or long daycare perspective can actually put their EOI in directly online. So we'll be communicating. So we would encourage any families that are interested in that location, register your details, and then as soon as we can give more specific date, we absolutely will share that information. Thank you.
Thanks,
thank you very
Gillies.
much. Just a follow-up question. Many of the residents expressed very early on their preference for alternate models of care, and I'm just wondering if the expression of interest for providers is inclusive of alternate childcare providers, such as other theoretical approaches, the name of which has just escaped me. But have we ensured that we are broadly putting out an EOI where a range of providers can express an interest? Montessori. Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Ms Gillies, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Madam Mayor, thank you. And I was just going to say, I think you're referring to Montessori. Yes, it will absolutely be an open tender process, and we'll be seeking applications from all interested providers.
Okay, thank you very much. My next question is regarding the One Tree Per Child event. Last year that was held in August and incredibly successful, as we know, around 9,000 children attended. I was of the understanding it was going to be held in September this year. Can we have an update of when the date is for that event?
Ms Gillies, if you could respond. Is that you? Oh, sorry. Mr Manivanagassavasama, if you could, please.
Through you, Mayor, I'm happy to check that with the team and then provide a response.
Thank you so much. Councillor Garrard?
Is a follow-up question to a question at the last meeting regarding the Keysborough South levy, the days of our lives of of this ward. And my question was, given that only 5,000 people pay this levy, they have many questions, and my question was around, would the council look at developing a very robust communication process with them and also a robust reporting. The response I got was that the budget annual report acquits the budget and that should be enough. Funnily enough, it's not enough. And so my follow-up question is, given that it is a $1.8 million spend, will the council consider having a committee-like process or a robust consultation process where residents can have input into how their money is spent, and that additional information which they continually ask for, which is where is the 15% additional space, and other matters around schedule of works and so on, will the council seriously consider having a robust collaboration and communication process and a detailed reporting process?
Thank you. If Mr Foley could respond, please.
Through you, Mayor, I'm going to have to take that one on notice. We need to explore those options a bit further.
Thanks, Mr Foley.
That's all my questions.
Great, thank you. Councillor Long.
These are some of the events that I've attended since my last formal meeting. 15th of September, I officially opened the Sangreg pitch at Booth Reserve, Dandenong. Sangreg is an Afghan rock throwing sport. On the 17th of September, I attended an online meeting for the Dandenong Day Nursery. Thank you.
Councillor Tan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Firstly, also like to report last 2 weeks, I also attended the Ancestors Day and also the 39 years anniversary AGM hosted by the Cambodian Association of Victoria. Also, I just want to say congratulations and thanks to the Cambodian Association of Victoria for doing a great job service the community for 39 years, not just the Cambodian community, not just in Great Dandenong, but also in the whole Victoria as well. Not just the services, we also provide, education and about cultural awareness. So congratulations to them. My question for tonight, through you, Mayor, through the relevant officer, this is got a few complaints that heard on social media. It's about potholes on Chandler Road. So that's a few potholes that they report. I'm not sure what's the actual address, but if the relevant officer can also do an inspection along Chandler Road, see what is the issue with the pothole at the moment. That's an issue raised by a lot of residents, so that'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr Manivanagassavasam, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Mayor, we are happy to get the teams to do the inspection and then take necessary actions.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Dark.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, my first question this evening comes from a previous issue I raised with a resident who lives on Parkmore Road at Finchhaven Avenue in Keysborough. They previously raised some speeding concerns. I subsequently raised this within the council meeting. I just want to find out if there's been an update from the relevant officers, whether the resident was contacted and what the outcome is from that.
Can you just clarify when you raised that, please, Councillor Doug?
I raised it about 5 months ago now.
Oh, wow.
So I know it was taken on board and the officer did follow up because the resident subsequently did contact me and tell me that they did put a speed mechanism device to measure the speed in the street. But following on from that, I just want to find out whether there has been a final response.
Okay, sure. We'll ask Mr. Manivanagasavan to respond, please.
Yeah, I'll check with our traffic teams and then provide you an update, Councillor.
Thank you.
Thank you. My next question is regarding actually in Parkmore Road as well. Number 4, outside number 4, there are the green Australia Post bins, which were originally the distribution boxes for Australia Post. Now, apparently it's been, for quite some time, Australia Post no longer use these green bins, but they've left them located all around the municipality, certainly in my ward as well. A couple of residents who maintain their grass and maintain their garden very, very well have noticed that the green boxes have been covered in spider webs, are starting to disintegrate with rust amongst other bits and pieces. Whilst I know they're not a council-owned asset, if we could please contact Australia Post to confirm, 1, if they're still being used, 2, if they're not, what the idea about moving them or recycling them or getting them rid of and rehabilitating the ground would be, that would be great.
Thanks, Councillor Dark. We'll ask Ms Gillies to respond. Thanks.
Certainly, Councillor Dark, we will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, my final question, following on from the question I asked at the last council meeting about along Chandler Road to do with the trees and the traffic issues regarding a fatality and some significant collisions, the officer's response confirmed that the Department of Transport and Planning is actually undertaking a full review from basically the whole path from north to south, which includes Jacksons Road, Alanera Road, Chandler Road, I assume from the Monash Freeway down to, say, the Dandenong Bypass. And they're undertaking a thorough review to determine what the risks are along those paths, given the substantial issues that seem to be affecting along those roads. I just want to find out, there was no date attached to it, and I've tried to confirm in Google and find out there's no information about that review being undertaken by the department as well. I know that there are several residents who would be certainly interested in providing some input into the Department of Transport and Planning, but also to confirm what the estimated timeline is for them to be able to undertake this review. I understand that Council's engineers are also now involved in this and working with them to determine, I suppose, the outcomes of this. And given the significant road that this carries a lot of cars, both from my ward going through Noble Park to people that go up to use the Monash Freeway, I think it'd be significantly, I suppose, important to try and get a push to get some sort of estimated timeframe at least, along with consultation. If we could please just get some more finessed details.
Sure, thank you. Mr. Manivanagasavan, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Mayor. Council officers are closely working with the Department of Transport on this. However, we don't have any confirmed dates, but as soon as we know the exact, when the time frame, we are happy to publish that in our website.
Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Councillor Milkovich.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of questions. If we could please get an update on the timeframe for removal of blackberries on Gladstone Road and the freeway overpass. I think we informed the residents by the end of September that's coming up quick and no work's been done as yet, so if we can just get an idea when it might start. I know weather was a bit average, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Manivanagasavan, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Mayor. I will. My understanding is the works has been programmed, but I'll check with the teams to see the exact timeframes.
Thanks for that.
Thank you, Mayor. The next question is regarding the pedestrian gates at Loy's Touring Reserve. Again, we had a report from the residents complaining about people congregating there after hours, like late at night. And for a certain period of time, the gates were locked, like the big gates were locked, so the vehicular gates were locked, and then the pedestrians were locked as well, which stopped the antisocial behaviour, but they're being left locked, unlocked, very sort of randomly, and every time they're unlocked, there's always people congregating there, drinking, smashing bottles, there's fights and all sort of antisocial behaviour. Could we please just get an update and see if we can re-establish that sort of regime of locking the gates, please?
Yep, thank you. We'll ask Mr. Manivanagasavan to respond, please.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have a look at that with the team and see if we can establish a process for that.
Thank you, Mayor. Also, could I please get an update on a possible new signage? I think it has to be approved by the Department of Transport regarding the no-through road turn onto Brady Road from Stud Road, where trucks inadvertently, turn into Brady Road and then they're stuck there for hours on end. I think we're waiting for Department of Transport. Is there any movement on that, please?
Through you, Mayor, I don't have any update on that at this stage, but I'm happy to follow that up. We are still waiting for the Department of Transport approval for that sign.
Thank you. And finally, could we please get someone to have a look at the handle on the wash basin at Brady Road toilet? Someone's ripped off the top of the handle like a little black ball, and now there's just like open thread. So when you go to wash your hands and you want to put the water on, especially if the kids grab it, they can sort of cut themselves. We can maybe just reinstall something there, please. Thank you. That's it from me.
Thank you. Mr. Manivanagassavasam, is that yours or Ms.
Yes,
Gillies?
yeah.
Yep, it's yours.
I'm happy to get the contractors to have a look at those toilets.
Great, thank you. Councillor Mehmeti, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to report that I attended the Victorian Afghan Association Network celebrating Youth Week. Hafiz Asadi, who is the president of VAN, does some fantastic work with his organisation, and celebrating Youth Week with the Afghani community was a real pleasure on Saturday night. There was lots of entertainment, and the youth are really inspiration. And I think under the esteemed President Hafiz Asadi, I think the group is in really good hands, and it was wonderful to spend some time with them regarding Youth Week. I also attended the Greater Dandenong Football Club, who is our recently named Greater Dandenong Football Club, who are residents at Turner Reserve and at Fotheringham Reserve, who had their presentation. In only 3 years, they've got now over 100 kids playing junior football, and they've also got a senior team and a reserve team. The team at Greater Dandenong Football Club, formerly known as Richmond Football Club, have now well settled in Greater Dandenong, and I think they have the very, very best name a football club could have, Greater Dandenong. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Mehmeti. Councillor Dan.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Firstly, just wanted to congratulate Noble Park United, Drina, for their successful football tournament last weekend. Just want to thank yourself, Ms Gillies, and your sports and rec team. I know there were a few issues on the way there, but appreciate the quick work to make sure that that went ahead. The weather was cold, wet, and it was absolutely miserable, but it was great to come down and see it in action, particularly given the effort and resources that the volunteers put into that. So that was really great to see. I was at the Sembach Lantern Festival as well, as mentioned already. It was vibrant, it was busy, and it was a lot of fun. And also the Noble Park Little Day Out just this recent weekend as well. I think the turnout gets bigger and bigger every year, and each street is just full of cars, which is a good problem to have for that specific day as well. Particularly loved the farm animals, so thanks for organising that as well. And just want to also thank the council staff that took time on a Sunday to work and provide a fantastic event for the community. Just one question from me tonight. I had an interaction with a constituent the past week. He's an older gentleman who doesn't speak English very well. He's had a couple issues with the council and was just looking to get some support from the customer service team, but there were some difficulties understanding. Does council have translation services or teams that might be able to help?
If I could just answer that, Councillor Dan, I have reached out to the resident twice and left messages in language. So just waiting for a response from the resident, but I have reached out, but we do have those interpreting services, but why not have the mayor contact you and speak to you in Italian instead? So just waiting to hear back.
Yeah, I think if it was in Italian, then I think we know who the resident is. So, but thank you for following that up, but that was all for me. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. So I will just go over a few things if I could. Firstly, the Little Day Out. What a huge success that was yesterday. We were a little bit nervous about the weather, but it turned out that the sun was shining brightly, and I think as the day progressed, we had more and more people in attendance, so I'd be very curious to see what our numbers were, Ms Gillies. I don't know if we have an estimate on that, but it'd be interesting to see the comparison from last year to this year. I took my children and they thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great day, a great event. Congratulations to the organisers once again for doing such a fantastic job. These events are always such a delight to attend. And of course, our junior mayor, Gemma, did a great job as well. So just wanted to commend the team and to thank everyone that attended the little day out yesterday. And what a great way to start the school holidays to entertain our little ones. The second thing that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is that, and this is obviously a topic that's very close to my family's heart, is that this Thursday, the 26th of August, which is the Friday eve of the football public holiday for the finals, footy grand finals, thank you. Channel 9, the Footy Show, will be hosting the My Room Children's Cancer Charity Telethon starting from 7:30 p.m. So I would highly encourage everyone to tune in, dig deep. I know that at the moment we do have quite a difficult time financially. Everybody is doing it tough, but I can assure you, however tough you think you're doing it, children that are enduring cancer is a lot worse than anything anyone could ever imagine. So please dig deep and donate to this incredible cause that we're very, very passionate about as a family. My children thus far have raised $19,433 themselves. Hopefully they'll be able to present that cheque live on Thursday night. But yeah, please tune in and donate as much as you can, because if everyone in Australia donated $1, imagine what that could do for childhood cancer. So that's all from me. Ms Weatherall, you have some tables to be questions from last council meeting that need to be tabled.
Yes, I do, Mayor, which I will table to you now.
Thank you so much. Item 7, urgent business. As there is no urgent business, item 8, close of business at 7:41 p.m. I think that's one of our quickest ever. Have a lovely evening. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much. Good night. See you, Bush.